mynews.studio.
In a city that once struggled with heavy pollution, you can now see electric buses gliding alongside cyclists through green parks. It really makes you wonder, can innovations at the local level change our planet's future?
Today is November 26, 2025. The Earthshot Prize just announced its latest winners in Rio de Janeiro. 5 projects, all focused on urgent environmental issues. What's different about this year's selection?
This year's winners are tackling air quality, ecosystem restoration, disaster resilience, and even sustainable fashion. What's notable is how each project could be scaled worldwide. Take Bogota, for example. They've managed to cut air pollution by 24% since 2018, which is impressive, especially as the city keeps growing.
That's a substantial drop. How exactly did Bogota achieve that?
They put in place Latin America's largest cycle path network, added more than 1,400 electric buses, and set up clean air zones. But it wasn't just about air quality. These efforts also made neighborhoods more walkable, increased physical activity, and eased traffic congestion. With the £1 million Earthshot Prize, Bogota plans to launch a second low-emission zone in 2026 and share their approach with other cities.
Is there a chance they might lose steam because of political shifts or tight budgets?
City officials are actually worried about that. Keeping up funding and support, especially when politics change, is a real challenge. But the Earthshot Prize isn't just about the money. It also gives winners mentorship, a network, and a way to share what works with other cities.
Let's move to Brazil's re.green now. They're working on restoring the Atlantic forest, correct?
That's right. They're using AI, drones, and satellites to map out and restore degraded land. Their business relies on selling carbon credits and sustainable timber. With the prize, they're aiming to restore 200,000 hectares by 2030 and 1 million by 2040.
That's a big goal. What are the main barriers for them?
Land ownership disputes and unpredictable long-term financing in carbon markets. Restoring forests isn't just about planting trees. You have to be sure those forests survive and generate income over time.
Switching gears, Lagos Fashion Week is going after a different problem: fashion industry waste and pollution.
Exactly. They're promoting circular design and pushing sustainable practices in fashion. Their plan is to bring this model to other cities, Kigali, Dakar, Accra, by 2030. The tough part is figuring out how to make sustainable standards work across regions with different rules.
And then there's friendship in Bangladesh. It started as a floating hospital, right?
Yes. Now they're a wider social group focused on disaster resilience. Things like mangrove restoration, preparing for disasters, and providing emergency relief. They already reach about 7.5 million people a year. With Earthshot funding, they hope to protect coastlines and expand relief efforts to help 50 million people by 2030.
But expanding means bigger risks, logistics, climate unpredictability, all of that?
Exactly. Reaching more vulnerable communities means dealing with much more complex logistics and uncertain climate risks.
Do these projects actually provide models other regions can use? Is it realistic to adapt their solutions elsewhere?
That's the idea. The Earthshot Prize isn't just about rewarding what's already working. It's about finding approaches that can be adapted and shared. Bogota's clean air work, re.green's restoration, Lagos Fashion Week's focus on circularity, all are intended to be models others can pick up. The prize helps winners connect with new partners and join a global network.
Has this kind of knowledge sharing worked in the past?
Yes, past winners like Takachar and Ampersand have seen their models picked up in other places, which shows how the Earthshot Prize can spark wider change.
So this year's prize really spotlights how solutions built on community engagement and policy can ripple outward. But is that enough to spark real momentum on climate or health?
That's the big unknown. These projects aren't a cure-all, but they do show practical, scalable steps that others could follow.
And the Earthshot Prize isn't just an award. It's really a way to share ideas, build new collaborations, and encourage leadership on policy.
If you want evidence that local action matters, these winners make a strong case.
Thanks for joining us as we looked at how local innovation is driving global solutions.
Thank you for listening. This episode was made possible by mynews.studio. Give it a try for free.